Hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the channel Bitman TV. Like, subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you for those that have been subscribing and supporting the channel. I truly appreciate it as our viewers and subscribers are going up and up. So, as you know how we do, it's the review of Raw and Smackdown week commencing the 13th of March. So Raw starts with Edge coming out, basically flat out calls out Finn Balor. And then Finn Balor comes up with a Judgment Day. They have a back and forth. Obviously, there's a challenge been put out there for WrestleMania. And Ed said basically, Ed said he accepts Finn's challenge at WrestleMania. But due to what's been happening, due to the back and forth, due to the fighting, Ed said he wants their match at WrestleMania to be in Hell in a Cell. So Finn was slightly hesitant, but he did accept in the end. Then obviously Finn goes, well, I'm going to beat you down now anyway. So they came down, so the Judgment Day came onto the ring, started beating down Edge, and then Johnny Gargano and Candice and Dexter all came out to help Edge. Then we go into a match. It's Judgment Day versus Dexter and Johnny Gargano in a really good match. But in the end, Judgment Day win because Judgment Day are on a roll. Then Miz is getting interviewed in the back, and then Gable intervenes in the interview and asks have he seen Otis, and then he says no, go look for him, put some posters, and that's what Gable does. And then we go into Trish Stratus being beaten down by the Damage Control. Then we go to MVP, basically calls out Brock Lesnar, and then Brock Lesnar comes out, scales the ring, he scans the ring, does a little walk around the ring to look at things, intimidate people, intimidation factor. Then he gets in there and he looks at Omos face to face. Brock actually does look like a little kid compared to Omos. Omos is so big, he's massive. Brock's looking up at Omos, and then Omos basically puts his fist out in his face and then opens it for a handshake. And then they have a handshake. And then it turns into a little brawl, and then Brock gets literally manhandled out the ring. So it's going to be interesting to see how that match goes at WrestleMania. Then we have Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight. LA Knight's a great competitor. He's coming up on the rise. Good match, but in the end, come on now, no one is stopping Cody on WrestleMania season. Cody wins, and then basically says in a promo on April 2nd he will be champion. So we'll see. Then we have Seth in the back. He's being interviewed and says he wants Logan Paul. The Miz pulls up and talks about obviously he's going to be the host of WrestleMania. And then Corbin pulls up. Corbin wants something. He needs some kind of role, some kind of part of WrestleMania. He wants to be the co-host with the Miz. Miz turns him down, and then he says to Seth he can give Seth some boxing lessons because he got KO'd. Seth goes, no, I'm okay, Corbin. I don't need your boxing help. And then Seth it talks about how Corbin talks about how Seth got knocked out by Logan Paul. Then it turned into a match because Seth thought he was being disrespectful. Then we had Bronson Reed versus Elias in a good match, but come on now, no, I ain't stopping Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed won. Then we had Gable in the back looking for Otis, and he's handing out flyers. Then KO comes out. KO talks about he doesn't want anybody. He's interviewed, and he tells you about he doesn't want anyone helping him. He doesn't want Sami Zayn's help. He doesn't want Cody Rhodes' help. He wants nothing to do with no one. Then we had flashbacks of John Cena coming back and going back and forth, or basically roasting Austin Theory. Then we have the Street Profits calling out Austin Theory. They're calling him Baby John Cena. Quite funny. And then Austin Theory goes, well, I'm in WrestleMania. What are you lot doing at WrestleMania? Nothing. And then Dawkins steps up. So then it goes into Dawkins versus Theory in a really good match. But come on now, no one's stopping Theory right now. Theory wins. And then he gives Dawkins the FTFU. And then Montez comes out for the save. Then we have Paul Heyman saying Roman Reigns will be on Raw next week. And Cody Rhodes can either acknowledge the tribal chief or become a problem. So we'll see what happens there. Then we had Rey Mysterio coming out, talking about how obviously he's grateful to be in the Hall of Fame. But then Dom comes out. Obviously Dom starts ranting on Ray, how he's a bad father, blah, 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 blah. How everyone else got a Mercedes-Benz, but he got his son a BMW. But Ray says, listen, you won't fight his son, even though Dom called him out for WrestleMania. Then you got Trish Stratus in the back. She is very mad. She is very angry, and she is not happy for what Damage Control did. So we'll see what happens there. Then we had Rhea Ripley and John Cena in a Hollywood skit. Go and check it out, it's pretty cool. Then we had a match, it was Seth Rollins versus Corbin in a really good match, but come on now, no one is beating Seth. Seth wins. Then we had Gable in the back. He finally finds Otis, and Otis is doing modelling. So then Gable tries to get involved, and then the MMM are saying basically Gable's broke the camera lens, so it's not going well there. Then we had Bianca versus Chelsea Green in a really good match. Obviously, no one is stopping the female John Cena. Bianca wins, who gets rushed, then get rushed by Carmella and Green, and then Asuka comes out for the save. And then Asuka grabs Bianca's belt, has a little play about. She doesn't want it. She reluctantly gives it back to Bianca. She goes around a little bit, like gives it to her, then pulls it back. Gives it to her, pulls it back, type thing. Then in the main event of the evening, it's Solo versus Kevin Owens in a street fight. Really good fight, really good match. Go and watch it, you haven't seen it. But with the help of the Usos, who come out, Solo wins the match. So Solo is still undefeated on the main card. Then we go over to SmackDown. SmackDown starts with Cody Rhodes coming out. He basically says he wants to speak to one person, who's Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens comes out. And then Cody Rhodes goes, well, this is not actually, you're not only the person I want to speak to, there's another person we want to speak to. He brings out Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens go back and forth. Kevin Owens is basically saying, look, he wants nothing to do with it. He wants no part of it. He wants no part of this moderating stuff. And then he basically walks off. Sami was obviously pouring out his heart to him, but he didn't want to hear it. Then we go to another cutscene where Sami says to Kevin Owens, no matter what, whether you love me, whether you hate me, he loves Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens just basically drives off. Then we have Dom and Rhea Ripley versus Xena Leah, Queen Xena, I don't know if she's still the Queen or not, and Escobar in a really good match, but in the end, Judgment Day won. And then Dom calls out his dad, Ray, who comes out. Basically, Ray says to him, if you was any other little kid calling me out at WrestleMania, I'd flatten you, but because you're my son, I won't fight you. So we will see what happens there. Then we had Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Tegan and Emma in a really good match by the ladies, but Liv Morgan and Raquel win. Then we have Charlotte Flair comes out, basically Rhea Ripley comes out. Rhea Ripley basically says she needs to beat her at WrestleMania. You had your time, you think you're better than everyone else. Rhea Ripley says she intimidates everyone else in the back, but Charlotte Flair is not scared of her, and that doesn't make her happy. So we'll see what happens there. Then it turns into a massive brawl between the two. Then we had Sami Zayn in the back saying, if Jay, because in the Jey Uso wants to talk to Sami Zayn in the main segment of the show. Sami Zayn's in the back saying, hey, if this is what it comes to, this is what it comes to. I did strike the tribal chief. I had a match with the tribal chief. If this is coming, this is what, if I gotta get beat down, I gotta get beat down. So we'll see what happens there. Then we had Xavier versus LA Knight in a really good match, but Xavier won due to roll up. And then we have another inductee into the Hall of Fame, the Great Muta. The Great Muta is inducted into the Hall of Fame. Then we have LA Knight saying to Rey Mysterio, hey, if you don't want to fight Dom, I'll fight Dom at WrestleMania. He said he'll pretend to be a deadbeat daddy like him, and then Rey basically smacks him in the face. Then we have, in the main match of the night, is Drew versus Sheamus. Winner faces Gunther at WrestleMania. Really good match, obviously a hard hitting match between the two. These are two awesome wrestlers, but in the end, it was a no DQ. Because no winner. Because what happens? For some reason, Gunther comes into the ring. Gunther saying he wants a challenger, but he comes into the ring and starts gloating, saying who's gonna be the man? Who's gonna come to WrestleMania? Then they get jumped by the rest of Imperium, so no one wins. And Adam Pearce says at WrestleMania, due to there being no winner, it's going to be a triple threat match. So we will see. So well done, Gunther. You now got a triple threat match. And in the main segment of the night is Jey Uso comes out. He speaks to Sami, saying he felt betrayed by Sami because Sami hit Big Uso. He was meant to be part of the family, but in the beginning, Jey Uso didn't trust Sami, and it turned out to be correct why he didn't trust Sami. And Sami said to him, listen, you don't have to do what you're being told. You're being used, you're being abused. And then obviously Jey Uso jumped Sami Zayn. Then it turns into a big brawl, and then Jimmy comes out to back up Jey. And then who turns up from out the blue to support Sami? Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens come out. they clear house, and they have a big, massive hug at the end. So it looks like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are back on track. So, spoiler alert, I bet it's going to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos at WrestleMania for the Tag Team Championships. You heard it first. This match hasn't been announced, but I'm telling you that's what's going to happen. Anyway, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you very much.